Welcome to 50 Plus in Montgomery County, a monthly show produced by the Commission on Aging. Each episode, we look at issues of interest to older adults. My name is Jean Dinwiddie. I'm co-chair of the Commission's Communications Committee. I'm subbing in for our regular host, Commissioner Katie Smith. Our theme this month is Healthy Aging, and we'll explore programs available through the county to help you stay healthy and active, and look at how best to manage your medications. Joining me is Dr. Nicole Brandt, Executive Director of the Peter Lamy Center on Drug Therapy and Aging and Professor of Pharmacy Practice and Science at the University of Maryland School of Pharmacy. Dr. Brandt, you are indeed an expert. Thank you so much for joining us. How would you best advise older adults on how to safely use their medicines? We're all on, I think, at least one, and often many more, at least one, and often many more. So tell me about how we can do that safely.
Oh, fantastic question, Jean, and thank you for the opportunity to present to your audience. So by ways of introduction, I am a pharmacist, as mentioned by Jean. I've been a pharmacist for over 25 years. And I have to say that medication safety, especially for older adults, has been my career. And I think what's really so important to note is that the medications have becoming increasingly complex, as well as our healthcare system and how to navigate it. And so oftentimes a very long medication list, you may say just at least one, but I don't think I ever see just at least one medication. I see a lot more than that. So I think what's really important is for older adults and those who care for them, because I know some of our older adults do not manage their medications on their own, should keep a complete list of their medication that is updated, and that they share this list with every healthcare provider that they see. And during those opportunities of when you're meeting with your healthcare team, whether it's your doctor, your nurse practitioner, your pharmacist, that they're aware of everything that you're taking and things that might be changing. And it's important to note, Jean, it's not just the prescribed medications that the doctors may give you, but it's also the over-the-counter medications. And so because there's a plethora of interactions that can happen with your medications, I would encourage people to use one pharmacy, because then the software can also help them with looking at interactions. But I'm realistic that people may be using multiple pharmacies because of the cost of medications and access to medications, let alone all the over-the-counter medications, again, that they get outside other sources besides just pharmacies. So those are just some basic principles: keeping a current list, keeping it on you, whether you're using a phone to keep your list or whether you're using a paper copy to keep your list. But I've just seen too many outdated lists of medications and them not sharing everything with their healthcare team.
And what should be on that list? So the name of the medication, right? What else should be on there?
Absolutely. So it should be the name of the medication, the dose that you're taking, how often you're taking it. And know sometimes, Jean, that there's a conflict between what's on the label and the way people actually take it. So actually explaining how they're actually taking it, in addition to what they think they're taking it for, so they can get education on understanding what that medication is for. And then they should also have, ideally, who is the prescriber for that medication, because if they need to get refills on that medication or ask questions, or maybe another healthcare team member might want to know who's actually prescribing that medicine, it's all in one format. It's also important to keep on that medication list any allergies or intolerances to medications, and who your preferred pharmacy is for your medications. So, because you may be using multiple pharmacies. So those are just some basic things to keep on your medication list. And I know our sophisticated consumer may be keeping an app with their list. They may say, well, it's in my chart, but realizing not all of their providers may have access to their medical chart. So that's why it's important. And if an emergency happens, that's one of the first things that an emergency personnel will ask you is what medications you're on, because there are particularly higher risk medications such as blood thinners that they really need to know in case you might have had a fall and hit your head or other things that are going on.
That is so vital, that list be current and that we show it to every doctor pharmacist, nurse, every time we see them. My personal experience in getting older is you just collect specialists, and they don't necessarily know what the other is prescribing. So it sounds like what you're saying is that the older adult should be their own advocate. Is that
100%. And I have to say we're all getting older together, right, Jean? And so as your advocate, right, as your own personal advisor, you should keep a log and a journal. Like I keep my own little file with my labs, things that maybe I couldn't tolerate, things I might have tried, because it's, especially if you're using different healthcare systems, and many of us are, to your point, of seeing specialists. They may not all be in the same system. And even if they're in the same system, you're the better attendant to your details of what's happened to you. And I'll give you, for instance, Jean, I'm in clinic today, and an older adult with their loved one coming in for some concerns with memory and wasn't sure why they actually stopped one of the memory pills. And so really understanding so we don't repeat history. Right? Was it because of an intolerance? Was it because it was ineffective? Was it because they couldn't afford it? But just having a better understanding of why. And again, as your own advocate, it's really important that you let your healthcare team know the why.
Yes. Now we're both pharmacists, so in addition to being your own advocate as an older adult, we have pharmacists as advocates. So can you tell me a little bit about medication checkups?
Yeah. So, Jean, in our since the creation of Medicare Part D, right, which has been going on for some period of time now, I think almost 15 years, it seems, as we look at the trajectory of Medicare Part D, they instituted a program called Medication Therapy Management. So, and with those programs, give you as an older adult who may be taking multiple medications, and especially if you're taking really expensive medications, the opportunity to sit down one-on-one with a pharmacist or potentially another qualified provider to review all your medications. And so this is called a comprehensive medication review. It's paid for by your Medicare Part D plan. And so there's no out of pocket cost for that. I do know many of my pharmacist colleagues that are providing these services. Maybe they're within the doctor's office or within the community pharmacy, even if it's not with a Medicare Part D referral. The other thing is Medicare itself, the Part B Medicare, has an annual wellness visit. And during that annual wellness visit, they can screen for some of these higher risk medications and do a medication review. So there's a couple of opportunities to have that review done. And I often hear, Jean, we did a study with this. We asked older adults themselves, well, why don't you get these services done? And some aren't aware of it. Others say, well, my doctor already does it. And I'm not going to discount that maybe your doctor does already do it, but it never hurts to have another set of eyes look at medication list, especially because of the complexity. And because I got to tell you, in my years of experience here, many patients have medications that are constantly changing. And so it's really important to look at that. And our bodies change as we age, Jean, right? The way our kidneys get rid of medications, the way our liver breaks down medicines, the way we might be mixing them together, might be different. So I think it's really important to have that annual medication checkup. And I like the term medication checkup because it's a part of what we should all be doing. Checking up our teeth, checking our eyes, checking our medicines, that it should be part of routine care. And I'm just happy that some of our federal payers are recognizing the importance of these medication reviews.
So does anyone with Medicare qualify for that medication checkup?
Well, if you have Medicare Part B, right, because and many of us do have Medicare Part B, that would come under your annual wellness visit. So that's one way you can get it. Under Medicare Part D, as in dog, your prescription plan, or a Medicare Advantage plan, they have comprehensive medication reviews. Little trickier, but you can ask your payer if you're eligible for that. Or it's possible that someone might call you and set up an appointment, because often these visits are done over the telephone or over a form like this, where we do a video with older adults.
All right. So that was my next question is
Mhm,
how do I find out who does this? And
mhm.
it sounds like the best way to do that might be calling my insurance. I
Calling your
have an
insurance.
advantage plan myself,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
call
Calling
them.
your insurance, see if you're eligible, and then who provides those services.
Oh, wonderful.
Mhm.
All right. Now you are in, definitely an annual medication checkup when we go for our annual physical. You're right. Then we do the dentist. I'd like to talk a little bit about you mentioned if you don't tolerate a drug. So I'd like to
Right.
talk a little bit about side effects
Yeah.
and talk to me about that.
Yeah, so I think it's really important that we understand one, the medication, why we're taking it, what it's going to help, and also be cognizant of what harms might be associated with it. And I know sometimes we get overwhelmed by the information that's given to us by the medicines. And you may say, oh my God, the cure is worse than the disease, right? That is going to cause me more problems. But I think it's really important to weigh the risk and the benefits of every medication. So, every medication that is out there, Jean, has the potential of some sort of side effect. Okay. And so it's being mindful of what you should be checking for. So, a lot of older adults take medicines for blood pressure. And as we're lowering blood pressure, maybe if we lower it too much, you may get dizzy, feel lightheaded, and potentially fall, right? So it's finding that balance of what the right dose is for you and how you tolerate it. But especially when you're starting medications, changing the dose of a medication, that you're monitoring your body closely for what things that could happen. Now, of course, there's always rare adverse effects that could happen as well, maybe hair loss, from some medicines, which isn't as common, but still, any new symptom in an older adult should be considered a drug side effect until proven otherwise. It's a quote I teach my trainees. It's a quote I tell my patients because you know your body, and medicines are often understudied in older adults, especially older adults who are taking multiple medicines. So I actually keep it on my mug. I've got my little prompts here. Okay. So here's my little mug, and it's got the quote on it. So it reminds me to remind you that, ask. And I think that's a really important thing, getting back to your advocacy, because again, as we get older, we take more medications, we have more medical problems, we're seeing more medical providers, and our body's changing. And so even though we might have tolerated it when we were younger, we may not be tolerating it as well as we're older. That goes for alcohol too, there, Jean. So we have to think about all the other substances people might be using besides what's prescribed. And alcohol is an important one, medicinal cannabis, other types of substances that might be being used. And so we need to be mindful of all those interactions.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Brandt.
Absolutely.
I
Sure.
really appreciate you making the time for us. I hope that you would come back and maybe talk to us about over the counter, the things that people buy that don't need a prescription, and about supplements. And I know there can be dangers involved there, but and if people wanted to learn more, we should go to the Lamy Center website. Is that correct?
Absolutely, Jean. So if you can share the Lamy Center website with individuals,
Yes.
and I'd like to do a shameless plug, we're actually creating a network for older individuals and caregivers to have your voice be heard in patient-centered outcomes research. And so we're putting together meaningful research questions that need to be helping advance medication safety and use in older adults. And the best way to answer those questions is to get older adults. And I know, Jean, you're one of them working with us, in terms of with the Lamy Center, because we may think one thing as clinicians, as healthcare providers, as researchers, but you may think something entirely different. And so that's why working together, we're stronger together, right? So is really critical. So whether it's in clinical practice or whether it's in research and training, those are really important ways that we can partner. So that information is on our website
Wonderful. All
too.
right, good. I was going to ask that. That
Yeah.
is wonderful. Dr. Brandt, thank you so very much. This has been such valuable information, and I think something that really younger or older adults, it's important for everyone to know. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Jean.
Up next, we'll talk with Tina Purser-Langley, Program Manager for Senior Health and Wellness with Montgomery County Area Agency on Aging.
Did you know there are more than 10,000 county government phone numbers? But there's only one number you need to remember for non-emergency calls, 311. MC 311 is Montgomery County government's online telephone information system. Need information? Have a problem or complaint? Trying to locate a county government facility? Call 311. The call center is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The website is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Ride on Flex, Montgomery County Department of Transportation's on-demand transit service to help you get around in defined Rockville and Glenmont-Wheaton zones. There are no fixed stops or schedules. Just use the Ride on Flex app or call 240-301-3842 to book your ride. Curb-to-curb service is available for people with disabilities. Standard ride-on fare policy applies. Visit rideonflex.com for service areas and hours of operation.
Welcome back to 50 Plus in Montgomery County. Welcome, Tina. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Jean, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Wonderful. And you're a very busy woman, I know. So making time, I really appreciate you making time for us. So you're going to tell us about some of the many things that you do as part of being the program manager for health and wellness for older adults.
Yes, I am. I'm going to talk about today, Jean, just some programs that fall under health and wellness for the Area Agency on Aging, Department of Health and Human Services. There's a lot of different programs that can fall under health and wellness, so we're just going to highlight a few today. The first one I really wanted to talk about is Active Aging Week, because Active Aging Week is going to actually come up in October. It's October 3rd through the 9th, and it's an international week-long campaign that celebrates positive aging in Montgomery County. And we've been a participant since 2018. I have a number of different partners who co-partner with me. The Parks Department, the Recreation Department, Department of Energy, and the libraries are all major partners and contributors in Active Aging Week. And we also have a sponsor for the last couple of years. Adventist Healthcare sponsors Active Aging Week. And what we do, like I said, we have events throughout the whole week. We start October 3rd through the 9th this year, and we have a kickoff event at Brookside Gardens. And for the last 4 years, we've tried to do a kickoff event that starts our week off, and we have also at the same time Walk Maryland Day. So we have different events at Brookside Gardens, and this year it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to have Arts in the Park for our older adults to take advantage of, and we have Walk with the Doc. We're going to have dance, yoga, drumming for wellness, just a number of different activities that we'll have at Brookside Gardens. And then during the week, we have different health and wellness activities that take place at senior centers, recreation centers, libraries throughout the county. So anybody can take advantage of those. They're free events. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about, because we're a little bit excited about it, we won the National Association of County Awards last year for Active Aging Week, and all of our partners were recognized. And we're just really proud of this. We borrowed the idea from PG County, and we've been on our way for 4 years.
Oh, congratulations. Congratulations on that award. That's really something. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Even during the pandemic, we had something for everybody. When COVID hit, it was very disruptive to our Active Aging Week. But what we did, our partners at County Cable helped us put on our programs online, virtually, so people could take advantage of the programs during that week online. We even went to Brookside Gardens and did tapings for our audience, so it was very exciting. And that's basically what we won the award on.
Oh, that's wonderful. But this year's in person, right?
This
so far.
Cross our fingers. This year it's in person. So we have the registration out. And like I said, there will be a link for that. We're hoping Our very first year we had Active Aging Week, we had 200 participants at Brookside Gardens. We also have a little mini health fair, if you will, too, going on at the same time, where we have local hospitals that come and do blood pressure checks and talk about different programs at our hospitals.
Oh, wonderful. Did you say one of the activities was walk with a duck?
Jean, it's walk with a doctor. We actually have 2 physicians who come out and walk with us around Brookside Gardens and talk to us about the importance of walking and what it means to keep your blood pressure down and just kind of the joys of walking. And it's wonderful because we actually walk a mile around Brookside Gardens, and they talk to us, and they take different breaks, and we take water breaks, and we stop along the way. We could see ducks, but it's walk with a duck.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. So that's a big event, and people need to register for that first day, or do you register for every event? How does that work?
So you register, so that particular event is at Brookside Gardens, and you need to register for that. That will be on Monday, October 3rd. The rest of the events will be listed online at Montgomery County .gov/seniors. And if you go to our calendar, you can see the list of programs that we'll have available all week. And the senior centers and the 55 plus programs, you'll have to register for those. There are some walk-ins and some that you need to register for those classes. We will put out a flyer up on our website, and we usually do social media, Instagram, Facebook, and we do tweets about it as well.
Oh, that sounds wonderful, and award-winning. So
award-winning, yes. It's very exciting.
That is great. And that is only a small portion of what you do.
Great. I would like to talk about our next program, which is Bone Builders. It's a free exercise program that is volunteer-led for 1 to 2 hours per week. Again, these are held at our local recreation centers, senior centers, churches, libraries. This program has been in the county probably now for about 16 years. And again, it's an all volunteer-led program. It's a free program, and it's very popular. A lot of times we don't have any space in the classes. We try to keep it real small because we're trying to combat osteoporosis and osteopenia. So we keep it very small. We have a very structured instruction manual that our leaders follow. And we really want to make sure that all of our participants get the best out of it that they can. And during COVID, again, I know I'm mentioning this twice, but we had to pivot because we had, at the time before COVID, 41 classes throughout the county and 125 volunteer leaders, which that's unheard of to have a program that big. We had over 900 participants, but we had to pivot because of everything being shut down. And we were lucky enough to get this program online, and it's virtual now. We had 2 different agencies supporting us, and one is the library. Kensington Library is online, and also the virtual rec room through the recreation department. We were able to serve so many people during COVID. And I know, Jean, that
I was one of them. Yeah.
You took advantage of that. How do you like the program?
I think it's great. And before, it was one of the positives that came out of the pandemic. Before that, I had always wanted to enroll in a class, but they filled so quickly. It's such a popular class. But because it's virtual, you can open it up to so many more. So I hope that that's a thing that stays even, when we emerge from this pandemic. I think it's a great class. I appreciate it.
It's going to stay. It's going to stay virtual. Our 2 partners, the library and the recreation department, said as long as we want to keep doing it virtually, we're going to keep it. We can serve 100 people per class. It's a little bit different The exercises are still the same, but we're able to open up to many more people. One of the things that people do get out of the in-person class, though, is the socialization.
Yes.
So we don't have that online, but people do stay connected through their classes. And we are able to bring back, as of this fall, bring back 14 classes in person. So we're very excited about that. Still, some people are a little reluctant to teach, and we're also looking for any new volunteers out there who want to join us in Bone Builders. So you can reach out to us if you have any exercise, if you have an exercise background, or if you want to learn about Bone Builders and become a leader, we would love to have you join us.
Oh, that is wonderful. And Tina, we have these programs are so wonderful, and we're already at close to the end of our segment, if you can believe it or not. So tell me about, if you can quickly tell me about the Pearls program and about the End of Life and Palliative Care Coalition.
Another program that we just started through funding with the Maryland Department on Aging and the Mac Living Well Center is a Pearls program. And it's an evidence-based program to reduce depression in physically impaired and socially isolated individuals. It's like a telehealth program with peer-led counselors that support older adults through 6 to 8 sessions, and also is supervised by a psychiatrist. And we partner internally with our HHS partners and also with affiliated Sante and Every Mind. That's how we get referrals. It's a small program. We're trying to test it out to see how it works in Montgomery County, but other counties throughout the state are also doing this program. We're very fortunate to really have this in our
and such an important issue. Now, in May, we looked at end of life issues on the show. So tell me a little bit about the End of Life and Palliative Care Coalition.
The End of Life and Palliative Care Coalition is another one of these long-standing coalitions that has been in the county since 2008. And my predecessor, Sean Brennan, started this program, and it's a lot of interested people in the county who are interested in end-of-life issues. And we started just about 4 years ago, palliative care, pain management issues. And we have a lot of webinars and educational materials that are available on our website. And I think we're going to highlight the website for people to look at and to get more information. We also partnered recently with Voice Your Choice, which was an organization that looked at advanced care directives. And so what our coalition now does is informational webinars and educational seminars on the importance of advanced care directives and getting those signed up and getting them online.
Oh, Tina, this has been such great information, and I really appreciate you being here and sharing it with us. You're a very busy woman, and I hope everyone goes online and signs up for Active Aging and for Bone Builders as well.
I hope so too. And if anybody needs any more information, they can contact me.
Wonderful, wonderful. We'll make sure that your email is available. Thank you so much, Tina.
Thank you, Jean.
Thank you. Well, that concludes our program on healthy aging and safe medication use for older adults. We hope that the information provided is useful for you. To learn more about the many services for seniors in Montgomery County, please visit the Montgomery County Seniors website at montgomerycountymd.gov/senior or call the Senior Resource Line at 240-777-3000.
Senior Call Check is Maryland's free service providing an automated daily check-in call for residents 65 and older. Senior Call Check makes an automated call every day, and if there is no response, follows up to ensure that you or your loved one is okay. Call 1-866-50-CHECK or register online at aging.maryland.gov.